Will Legends Arceus mark a new era for Pokémon, like how Breath of the Wild marked a new era for the Legend of Zelda franchise? Or will Arceus be seen as a black sheep in the franchise for years to come? In this video, we're going to theorize if Arceus will end up being any good, and rank our theories from least to most likely to come true. Theory number 4. Arceus flops and marks a decline in the Pokémon franchise. Imagine, Arceus turns out to be barren, boring, fans of all ages are disappointed by the game, and it leaves a sour taste in everyone's mouth. Since the game is so bad, hardly anyone purchases it, and there is massive internet outreach. Fans are furious that the Pokémon company let this massive opportunity for an innovative Pokémon game slip. This drama becomes so popular that many casuals hear about how bad the game is and it severely underperforms. Although fans want them to try again, but make a whole lot of changes to make the game actually enjoyable this time, the Pokémon company only listens to the numbers, not the feedback. They decide that this idea for a series was completely pointless and they never make a unique big budget game like Legends Arceus again. From here on out, it's by the books remakes and sequels like BDSP and Sword and Shield only. This Pokémon company knows that these games will sell no matter what. A couple months pass by and the Pokémon company announces the Gen 9 Pokémon game that looks similar to Sword and Shield with some wacky gimmick included. They nail their marketing and appeal to a lot of the casual audience like usual, but a lot of the hardcore and even some casual fans still have a sour taste in their mouth from the Legends Arceus drama. Consumers are skeptical of how good Gen 9 will be, and are turned off by the Pokémon company's laziness in the recent years. Gen 9 ends up performing better than most Switch games, but sells a lot less than Gen 8, to Nintendo's disappointment. Pokemon frantically pumps out remakes and sloppy sequels in hopes of reigniting their audience, which works in the short term, but interest in Pokemon dwindles more and more as the years pass as people get sick of the same games and the general mistakes of the Pokemon company. As interesting as it would be to see Pokemon face failure for once, this is the least likely outcome of the Legends Arceus release, for a number of reasons. To start, do you really think a big new Pokemon game would ever undersell by that much? I mean, it's Pokemon for crying out loud. Even if the game did underperform somehow, there's virtually no chance people will stop buying Pokemon games. Once again, it's Pokemon for crying out loud. Theory number 3. Arceus performs near or above average, and several more open world games are released. Imagine, Arceus is a groundbreakingly good game. Immediately, critics refer to Legends Arceus as the Breath of the Wild of the Pokemon franchise. New and longtime fans alike have a blast with the game, and people start speculating that DLC and a potential sequel might come in the near future. The game performs on par with BDSP and Sword and Shield, and the Pokemon company picks up on that. They notice that the people like Arceus just as much as their other big games, and as so they announce a DLC to be released in 2023. The DLC builds upon everything everyone loves from the first game, and the Pokemon company releases a trailer for Legends Arceus 2 the following year. From here on out, Pokemon creates a mix of open world projects and by-the-books games. But this time, Gen 9 has an open world, like a segment of Legends Arceus in place of the wild area in Sword and Shield. Nintendo loves that they now have another cash cow in the form of a Pokemon sub-series. As a result, the open world Pokemon Legends series sees at least one new entry every other year. Despite the frequent releases, Pokemon innovates with each and every open world game, and it takes both fans and critics well over a decade to get sick of the series. As much as I'd like to see this come true, the truth is that this isn't very realistic. This is the Pokemon company after all. If they haven't even made a sequel to Let's Go yet, what's the chance that Legends Arceus will have one? The most we can hope for is an open world element in the next generation of Pokemon games. Theory number 2. Arceus wasn't fun and undersells. Pokemon makes more remakes and lazy sequels. Imagine, the game finally releases, with a vast open world that is way too barren. Critics are fairly harsh on this game, and most fans consider it a missed opportunity. The general online reception is that the game has few good moments and definitely a lot of potential, but it wasn't very fun at all, and honestly it wasn't even worth picking up. There are quite a few angry fans that are annoyed that the Pokemon company missed out on this opportunity to make a big new open world game. A new hashtag trends on Twitter in retaliation to the Pokemon company. This negative reception begins to build up and causes a spike in interest in the Legends Arceus series. Sales go up a bit in the short term because of all the negative publicity, but eventually this publicity fades and all that's left is the negativity. The negative reception was heard by a lot of the casual market, and that turns many of them off to the idea of purchasing the game. Plus, the main demographic of Pokemon, kids, aren't all that interested in the game, since it seems too different from the Pokemon adventure they're used to. All that, on top of the game not being released during the holiday season like usual, causes the game to underperform. The Pokemon Company notices this, and so does Nintendo. Nintendo thinks that it was worth a shot, but this game style just wasn't fit for Pokemon. Gen 9 releases in 2023 and is a whole lot like Sword and Shield, minus some slightly interesting gimmicks. The new game sells phenomenally well, and the Pokemon Company continues to pump out rehashed sequels and lousy remakes that all sell exceptionally well. As grim as that may sound, the truth is that this scenario is all too likely. From the lackluster gameplay we've seen so far, it's not hard to be worried that the open world will end up being far too empty, and the missions will be far too boring and tedious. Hopefully I'm proved wrong, but that's what it's looking like. Not to mention, there probably won't even be a sequel to this if the game did do well. I'll refer to the point I made earlier about there being no sequels to Pokemon Let's Go. Theory number 1. Arceus is mediocre, performs near average, but no other similar games are released. Imagine, Legends Arceus releases to critics and fans alike, feeling like the game had a lot of missed potential. It's not bad by any means, but it didn't turn out to be big Breath of the Wild-esque that we were all hoping for. Instead, it feels more like a rip-off open-world game than anything else. Initially, there's a whole lot of controversy regarding whether the game is a massive success or hot garbage, but all of that settles after a few weeks, and most people end up viewing the game as mediocre. Despite the mediocrity, the game still sells very well, likely because of all the good marketing, and the fact that the game had Pokemon in its name. It doesn't break any records, but performs on about par with the rest of the big Pokemon games. Even though their sales might look high, the online Pokemon community will quickly die down as people become less and less passionate about the game. Hardcore fans will eventually accept that the game is mediocre, despite how much they wanted to mark a new era of innovation in the Pokemon franchise. A couple months will pass, and the talk about the game won't rise back up until the Pokemon Company announces some sort of DLC for the game. The DLC will be very promising and add a lot of interesting gameplay mechanics to make the game less boring and tedious. Everyone will love the DLC and look forward to the new Pokemon game that builds upon that DLC even more. People will say this game was a step in the right direction, and that the sequel could really be the game that could change the Pokemon series forever. Alas, that sequel will never come, as the Pokemon Company will be profiting just as much, if not more, from lower budget remakes and rehashed sequels. Legends Arceus will have a massive and loyal following for years to come, but we will unfortunately not see a game quite like it. What we will see, however, is the Pokemon Company taking the parts fans and critics like the best about the open world and implementing it into future generations of Pokemon. As far as I'm concerned, this seems like it would be the most likely outcome, and it's an outcome I'd be quite pleased with. I love to see Legends Arceus be the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon, with plenty of sequels to come. But I'd also be happy with a Generation 9 that implements some of the open world elements from Legends Arceus. It wouldn't really make sense for the Pokemon Company to make a sequel to Arceus, since they'd make so much money off of lower budget games like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes, which are literally breaking records. It would take a lot to warrant a sequel to Legends Arceus, especially considering that we haven't even seen a sequel to Let's Go yet, and those games did phenomenally well. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you stuck with us this long, you must have seriously enjoyed this video. So I ask, if you're still here, please subscribe to get notified of new videos in the future. As well, like and share this video around, because the more shares we get, the more people will see it, and that would really help us out. This has been Jake with Game Domain, and I'll see you in the next video.